where you met with Tim Geithner, who was running the New York Fed at the time in 2007, and told him what the bank's exposure. Now, we were in total agreement with you, but we were actually a financial services firm. Where did you learn that within Bridgewater? Was that something you undertook yourself? Was that part of your team process that dug that up? Because you were early to the crisis, I should say.
Yeah. I mean, it started actually when Ray turned to me about 6 months before that meeting and said, this housing situation, a big deal or a small deal? And I was a couple years out of school and had to very quickly develop an understanding of the banks, their exposure, the assets, the likely losses, and the consequences of that. It was a real sprint, but it was a great time. And fortunately, my answer was it was a big deal, and that kicked off a lot of very interesting conversations. I mean, it was very interesting both seeing and managing through that dynamic, through the financial crisis, both as an asset manager and how you manage money through that, but then also spending a fair amount of time working directly with the White House, with the Fed, with the Treasury and others, congressional folks as well, on how to actually develop the policy to navigate through it. And that Geithner meeting was a particularly interesting one because, of course, whenever you go and have lunch at the Fed, the officers don't tell you anything,
Right.
as they should. They shouldn't tell you anything. But I had my big sheet of paper out with all the financial institutions in the country going on across this side and all the losses, the assets and the losses that they would undertake. And I said, President Geithner, basically every financial institution in America is broke. And he just turned white. Because he had lived through a lot of crises before. I mean, he was right front and center. If you read his biography, it's actually a good biography. Right in front and center in the Asian financial crisis. Seems to have found himself in every crisis possible. He asked a lot of specific questions about how we knew, but it became pretty clear that was both a compelling description of what was going on and also a bit of a shocking description because very few people at that time would have an honest conversation about how bad it was going to be.